never know how to wear this beanie. Do I go over the ears? Do I leave the ears out? I know this is the style, but I feel like it just pushes my ears up and I look like an elf. YouTube, what is going on? It is Christopher and we are back with another video. I just got off a plane and I landed here in Boise, Idaho, and I'm about to go do a shoot, but I thought I would talk really quickly about some of my favorite traveling tips, mostly pertaining to with the airport and going through that whole process. I've traveled a lot over the last year. Or two, and there's things that I picked up on as I've been traveling that make that travel experience a lot easier. So I'm gonna go over 5 different things that I've picked up and learned that have made traveling a lot easier for me. Okay, so tip number 1 is pack light. I don't always follow this one myself. A lot of times I'll be packing my clothes and think that I need 10 shirts and 10 pants and 10 socks for a 2-day trip. Every time that I do pack light, I never regret it because it's just so much easier to get around the airport, Ubers and taxis and different things that you may be taking. My second trip for flying is to get a pair of noise canceling earbuds. I use the AirPod Pros. I just recently switched to these a couple months ago when they first came out. I would always pack a second pair, the Sony WX1000 M3, whatever. And those were really nice headphones and they sound better than these. But the fact that these are just so tiny and so small, again, pack light, is just something that's unbeatable for me. So I'll sacrifice, and these are still really good. Like these sound great. I can hear all my movies, all my shows, all my music, whatever, and it drowns out all the noise in the background. They're the best. Battery's great, sound great, look great. They're just great. Tip number 3 to kind of go along with the earbud things is to make sure that you have downloaded content on whatever device you have, whether that's an iPad or an iPhone or an Android phone or whatever it is. Make sure that you download the media so that it's offline, so that when you get on the airplane, you have something to watch. I've flown and I've forgotten to do this the night before and it sucks. I mean, it's still livable, but it's always just so much nicer having a show, having music, having something to listen to. And there's literally been times when I've had nothing, so I've just had to sit there like, all right. Make sure that you have downloaded media on whatever device you have. Tip number 4. Tip number 2 on my list of top 5 tips for traveling is to get PreCheck or Clear. So if you don't know what PreCheck is, in the United States, they have this PreCheck system where you basically sign up for it, you go through a little process, and then after you're done, you get to skip the entire line, you get to keep your shoes on, you get to keep your laptop in your bag. There's like a bunch of little benefits. I did not believe in this at all when I first started traveling. I was like, you don't save that much time. Look, there's still a line over there. And I just thought it was just kind of a hoax just to get some more money out of there. I also thought it was a lot more expensive than it was. I literally just signed up for this last month and I've been kicking myself that I didn't do this a long time ago because it just makes the airport experience so much easier. No hassles. It's just so easy. So go sign up for PreCheck. PreCheck, I believe right now is $85 for 5 years. So even if you fly once a year, it's like $15 extra or something per flight. I'm sure that math is wrong. Whatever the math is, it's really cheap, really affordable, a lot more affordable than I thought it was. Clear is a new kind of system that just started probably last year. I'm not exactly sure when it started, but it's kind of a step further. And you now get to cut the TSA pre-line if you have pre and clear. Clear is a little bit more expensive. I think it ranges depending on your credit card that you have. You can get some discounts and different things like that, but I think it's about $125-ish per person per year. But it actually is really nice as well. You don't have to pull your ID out. You use yourself as an ID. So when you're walking through it, they either scan your eyeballs or you can use your fingerprints, and that's your ID. And then you just use your boarding pass and then you skip the whole line. But this was almost my number 1 tip just because it really does change the whole going to the airport experience, or at least in my case, it has. Not having to take your shoes off is just super useful. And like after you get through they scan your bags, you're like fumbling to get your shoes on and tie them and carry your bags, and it just can get really hectic. It literally is just like you walk through almost, and it just makes it super seamless, super easy. So sign up for PreCheck. You don't need Clear. If you have the money for Clear, I still think it's worth it. But if you're like trying to decide between one or the other, I would definitely go PreCheck, because there's more airports that use PreCheck and it's cheaper. And it's basically the same. Clear is just makes it a little bit easier. I'm still going to use both for when I travel. My number one tip for traveling, and this one, you're going to say, wow, that's so dumb. But literally, I see people doing this every single time I go to the airport. They even look like seasoned travelers. Like you can tell when you're going to the airport a lot, like, oh, that dude travels a lot, that dude doesn't, just by what they're wearing and that kind of stuff. But even those guys that I know are seasoned travelers, I still see doing this, and it just blows my mind. So the tip is dump your pockets before you go through security. So what I do is I take literally everything out of my pockets and put it into my bag. The reason I think this is just why it just blows my mind is because when you do this, then you're not fumbling to like try and stuff your pockets like right outside the TSA line. You can do that later, like when you get to the gate, because you know all your stuff's in your bag. You don't have to think, oh, did I put my phone in the bin? Did I put my keys in the bin? Did I put my boarding pass? If you just put everything inside your bag. So I have this is my new just little bag that I got, but so I'll dump everything, put my phone, put my keys, put my boarding pass, put everything inside these pockets or an outside pocket on your bag. And then you just know, oh, if I just grab this bag, I have all my stuff. Then I know when I get to the other side of TSA, all I need is this bag. I don't need to be fumbling around like, where's my phone? Where's my ID? Where's my boarding pass? All that kind of stuff. That's my number one tip. I know it seems super dumb, but I promise you, if you travel a lot and you go to the airport, you will see, and maybe you haven't even thought of this, that most people just dump their pockets into the bin and not into the bag. And it just makes life so much easier if you just dump everything into your bag. You won't lose anything, you won't forget things, it'll make the process go a lot smoother. Those are my top 5 tips for traveling, mostly pertaining to at the airport and the flying experience, not like hotels and all that kind of stuff. That's a whole nother thing, but when I follow these 5 things, it just makes the airport to airport experience a lot nicer, a lot easier, and has made a difference in my traveling abilities. If you have any other tips, I'd love to hear about them. Post them down below. Thanks guys, we'll see you in the next video. Oh, and don't forget, I'm still doing that unboxing. It's a surprise unboxing. It's coming hopefully this next week. I just didn't have time this week to shoot that. So hopefully soon I'll have that. Snowing out here. Say hi to Bronny and Ollie. I haven't been in snow in a long time. Look at that. Can't even see my shoes. It's so white out here. Woo, love it.